So I just listened to about 6 hours of the Skinwalker Ranch episodes, and I heard you guys say such nice things about me afterwards. This is Danny, by the way, that I'm leaving you a message. I've never done this, but I just wanted to let you know how awesome your show is. So, Jeremy and Jake and Wes and Kenzar, you guys absolutely, totally, without a doubt, rock. Thanks for such great work. And I plan on keep listening as long as you guys keep putting the cool stuff out that you keep doing. So thanks for everything, and I can't wait for the next episode. Bye.
And we'll just post it at any time. Like, we could just throw this up, we'll record it now and we'll just use it whenever, right?
Sure.
We won't even do a proper introduction.
We can record one of those later.
No, we just don't even do it.
Don't even do it.
Let's not even introduce it.
Anyway.
Yeah, they'll listen to it.
Just hi.
We can,
by the way.
If this is someone's first episode, go back to
oh yeah, you chose a poor episode to make your first episode.
So I was down in the card shop, and this is my wife's second or third time in this card shop. And
start the story over if we're recording.
Oh, might as well. Sorry, I just ate a candy.
So anyway, halfway through this story.
So to catch everybody up, we were sitting down to record an episode today, and we just got into this conversation where we're like, let's move this episode to a later date. Let's just have a conversation, because the Black Hole Conversation episode that we had actually did pretty good. I got some good feedback from it.
Oh, nice.
And I thought it was fun.
Still not my fault Canada wasn't in number 2, okay? Just saying.
we're putting it all on you. But anyway.
Of course you are. I would expect nothing less.
Yeah, so hi, Leah, if you're listening to this. I'm telling them the story of today. So, which I actually just kind of forgot what. Oh, so I go in and I start talking to Leah behind the counter, talking about, picking out my Pokemon cards and whatnot. And then Katie's out in the truck because she's feeding the baby. And, all of a sudden, Katie walks in with the baby. And then I grab the baby from Katie and I go, hey, this is my youngest. And I just hold him out. And she's like, oh, man, can I hold him? And I looked at Katie. I was like, can she? She's like, yeah, go for it. So handed over the baby and everything. And then there's this one girl who I've only seen in there once or twice, right? I haven't really talked to her very much. And I looked over, I was just like, I do a podcast. just this is some majorly important thing that I do.
Did you twist your mustache while you said?
I should have.
Yes, I do a podcast.
I do
the same thing though. It's fine.
as I'm literally fisting my beard. I can fist my beard. Look at this. Anyways, so
you left dents in it like a foam mattress when you press it.
I did, didn't I? That's nuts. My beard is moldable.
You're getting scruffy.
I am. So I don't know how it came up, right? We were just kind of talking, and I told Katie, I was like, Leah, she's the one who listens to the show, because when Jake was down here, or up here, over here, we'll just say over. When you were over here in old Scanton, where everyone's super nice to everybody, she actually listens to the show. We just kind of nonchalantly brought it up in conversation, and she's like, yeah, I listened to that Infinite Rabbit Hole. Yeah, my friend turned me on to it or something, and I showed her the logo, and she's like, yeah, that one. And we were like, well, hey, we're Jake and Jeremy. And she's like, oh, well, that's really cool.
Town with 16,000 people in it. One of them listens to the show. I mean, that's pretty nuts. That's pretty wild.
That is pretty cool. But anyway, so the story from today was, this is pretty funny. Her and my wife kind of got into a conversation, right? Just about the show and, about how much time it takes up and all that. And she was trying to come up with the name of one of the co-hosts. and she it was because she listens to the episodes first, and then her kids listen to it. So she listens to it. She like pre-screens them for her kids,
Right.
Oh yeah.
and she's like, one of the guys. She goes, "It's not you, me." Like talking about me. She goes, "It's not you, but one of them I don't know about." And I'm like, "It's not me. I'm the one that curses all the time. Jake doesn't curse, and Kid isn't a dude." And I was like, "Are you talking about Jeff?" She goes, "Yes, Jeff." And I was like, "What was wrong with Jeff?" She goes, "I don't know. He's just out there."
That's how my husband thinks of Jeff too. It's so funny.
He's just out there.
Yeah, he's like, Jeff's a cool guy, but he's fucking out there, and he's too far gone for my liking. I'm like, well, I like Jeff, so it's fine.
So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. So I ended up meeting her husband for the first time the other day. I was walking out to my truck, and he comes running out. He's like, "Hey, so I was supposed to introduce myself." And I was like, "All right." And forgive me, I forgot your name. I meet a lot of people, man. But it was nice meeting you. If you're listening, Leah's husband, and he kind of talked to me a little bit about some of the local haunts here that we need to go check out. Apparently, there's a place called the Devil's Punch Bowl, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, there's Hoffman Hills, the Mabel Tainter, which is the theater, and then he was telling me about this place where hellhounds are, and I think I brought this up in the last conversation a little bit. In this place called Caryville, about where hellhounds are supposed to run around, and I think that's going to be a pretty cool place. But didn't we talk about this in the last episode? Pretty sure we did.
I don't think so.
No. Oh well. Here it is.
Sounds
Whether we
familiar,
did
but I don't think I've heard it out of your voice, out of your mouth before. So.
Oh, well. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much
cool.
it. Yeah,
I'm so stoked that the plans seem to be going forward with me getting a job at the factory that you're working at, and just I had to have a conversation with my parents because they were like, "Oh, you're going to go over there and you're not going to know anybody." I was like, "No, Jeremy's going to be the anchor." They've already opened up their home to us and talked about helping us with the move and the transition and all that stuff. But just how easy it will be to be able to go and explore things like that if we're both living in the same area.
Yeah.
And just like, I know we talked about that in the last episode, the black hole episode, but because we had those plans, right, when we first started this, like we wanted to do that ultralight backpacking trip through the Shenandoah forest or mountain range, right?
The national park. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even know why that fell apart. I think that we just couldn't get a solid plan together and all that stuff. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit iffy about it because I had never done that before, and you were super hyped about it. It's like, well, I'm gonna die out there. But that was before we had a podcast together where the ultimate goal is to go and explore some crazy stuff. And I mean, it's just going to make that so much easier to go from here to the next level. And, I don't want to count Kenzar out of this or Jeff out of this, but, especially if we're like using funds of the podcast to get people to fly in to then go to someplace else, it would cut that down dramatically if one of those people didn't have to fly anywhere because I lived down the street, right?
Right.
But no, I mean, I'm super stoked about the projection of this show because we're finally, I feel like we're right on the cusp of like that next step. Like we tried out being attached to a network, so if another network opportunity comes up, we at least know what sort of workload is surrounding that and is all involved, right? Which I think that we'd all be pretty much down for. But being able to be at that spot here, and it's still, a year away, but be at that spot where we can see the next step approaching, and it's really not as daunting of an idea as it was at the very beginning, where it's just like, and then we get into documentaries, and I'm like, holy crap, come on, man. But now I'm just like, okay, yeah, we'll be in the same area and go explore Menominee, Wisconsin. I don't know what else the Midwest has as far as, interesting, paranormal type stuff. Not like the East Coast, which had Jamestown and Williamsburg, where if we had been at this level living over there, we could have gone and explored some Civil War battlegrounds and things like that, right? Some of that really creepy stuff. But even still, I have no doubt that we'll run into some cool, interesting stuff. And I think that the next part is just to be in a position where we don't talk about it anymore and we just go do it. But that's quickly approaching, and we can see it, right? We can see that next step, and it's pretty cool to be in this position. I'm stoked to be living next to you and possibly be your coworker. And then hopefully our relationship doesn't completely fall apart because we hate each other because we're, 2 shift supervisors constantly butting heads.
Well, we will. We
Oh,
will.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it'll be shift wars, but it'll be on the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Like, we'll do it over the mic.
Oh, yeah,
So we'll just talk shit about each other.
Wait, that's different from any other time. How?
Well, we do
Listen,
it playfully
kid.
now, not to hurt each other's feelings, but then it will be to just deteriorate the relationship.
Yeah, we're gonna be mean. Oh, it's gonna be so mean.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And if we can get
Nah.
Kenzar to come move into Wisconsin, then all we got to do is
They're trying
convince
hard,
Jeff.
guys.
All we got to do is convince Jeff to not spend his money recklessly so that he can come, because he's never going to move there. I know that for a fact.
No, he's not.
And I'm never
But-
going to move to Florida because I don't want to be picked up by a mosquito and flown away. But
That's a real concern. You gotta think about that kind of stuff. A lot of
the
people don't think about
mosquitoes,
that.
Yeah.
And why do you think the death rate is so high in Florida?
Right. They think that it's the
'Cause
they
they're
think that it's the crocodiles. and
Wild
stuff.
ass crazy human beings.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they-
are half of them even human? They're Floridans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're reptile folk.
Yeah.
What do you get? What do you get when you mix a human with bath salts? A Floridian.
Floridian.
Oh goodness.
I can say that because I'm from St. Pete. But anyways, no, it is exciting. Kid, you know what? Screw that. We're going straight to the listeners here. All right, listeners, we got a task for you guys to do. I want somebody to create a petition for Kid to move
Oh boy.
to the U.S.
Oh boy.
and become an old Menominee.
Every listener
Wisconsinite.
has to sign it though.
Every single one of you.
Every single one of
Every
them.
single one of you.
If one person decides they don't want to sign it, then I'm not moving. Sorry, guys.
But no, I mean, on a real note though, Kid, if you did move here, it would make all this stuff a lot easier. But I'm not going to make
So
you
much easier.
change your nation because of a stupid podcast. I don't know. I'm a host of
Hey.
a podcast. Gotta move to another country.
Yep, get my work
Gotta
visa.
be like the rest of them, you know?
Oh man. So there's not a lot to talk about today. There's really not.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a tough one. So let's just let's see. We're gonna be putting out communion before this, right? So that'll put us to what day is communion coming out?
That's coming out
on the
this
9th.
week. Yeah.
So this episode should drop the 16th, right?
yeah, probably.
Maybe not. I don't know. Probably the 16th or the 23rd. So that means it'd be right before Christmas. So let's talk about our Christmas. Let's talk about last year for Christmas. We did Krampus. This year we don't have anything.
Well, there's not a lot of Christmas stuff. I mean, that isn't well overdone.
Right.
I mean, I know that we have a lot of podcasts that we are involved with, whether their hosts have been on our show or we've gone over to theirs, or we talk back and forth on Facebook or whatever it is. And a lot of us do pretty much the exact same topics. Like I'll see, Asher's will put something out on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and she does a topic that we covered, a couple months ago or something like that. Or, another group will put out something and it's like, oh, we covered that too, and all sorts of stuff. I mean, because it's the strange and the weird and it's the interesting topics, right?
A very good example of that actually is My Mermaids episode. Like a week or two before before My Mermaids episode dropped, Asher's did a Mermaids episode too, right? So like literally like 2 weeks beforehand, and I was like, oh man, like we're all just layering on top of each other now.
Right. And so, I mean, and we try not to do stuff that's incredibly overdone. But sometimes you get into these areas where it's like, okay, a Christmas related topic. Krampus. And that's it.
Pretty much, yep.
Maybe we could talk about Santa Claus being an alien, but it's just like it's difficult, especially since we try to stay. Krampus was kind of an outlier because it wasn't a is this thing real? It was just a report done on a historical tradition that is still played out in some areas in Eastern European culture, but it was really different from most of the things that we cover, which is what do you think? Could this have happened? Could this be a real animal or whatever it is, the way we play most of our stuff out. And so we really try to stay away from just throwing out a bunch of historical facts at the listeners, which most of the stuff surrounding Christmas would be, And so it's, I don't know. I don't think we have to do a specific holiday episode every single time. Maybe an abominable snowman be like, oh, cause snow, Christmas, but
well, I mean, the Yeti would be a good winter one to do. We should do the Yeti next year.
See,
that would be
amazing.
Be pretty good.
I'm a genius.
Pretty good. But
and I'm incredibly humble too.
While we're on the topic of that, I'll give you guys a little bit of backstory behind Krampus, right? And then maybe we'll go to Jake. We'll find out from him, and then I got a question for you, kid.
Ooh.
But the one episode that I got probably 10, 15 pages into the book that I just had to really push, I had to dig deep to even finish, was Krampus. I almost didn't do it. I almost gave up. It was just such a... See, the thing is like traditional lore like that is neat, right? But knowing the whole time that I'm never going to have a chance or ever come across somebody who has claimed to ever seen a Krampus or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, the stories are cool. Like the Krampus Nacht, which just passed actually. We're recording this on the 6th of December. I believe it happens on the 4th or the 5th. The Krampus Nacht, which is a traditional ceremony, night of mischief. That they do over there, and what is it, the German Alps, right? Or the
and there was that one that was going on down in LA that I had actually bought tickets for, and then I was thinking about it, and I was just like, I think it might be unsightly for a Christian guy to go to a pagan celebration. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go. I just didn't go. I'm like, whatever.
But yeah, that episode almost didn't get done. So then the rollover question to Jake would be, Jake, what topic have you done that you almost gave up on?
The first Giants episode.
Really? You're trying to make a series out of this, dude.
There was just so much I couldn't figure out how to get started. And I almost bailed on it because it was before I decided I was going to do regional, and even then separate it way out so it's not just a one thing after another thing after another thing, because that one's going to be mostly like the Krampus, which is going to be these are the facts or these are the reports, not what do you guys think? It's just going to be a regional, here's the giant stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so difficult to get into. I wrote that entire report and then had reach out to Denver Michaels, but I wrote the whole thing that I wrote down in a couple days because I finally got the idea of just like, well, instead of trying to cram this all in at once, I'm going to split it up. because there was just so much information. I was like, there's no way this is going to be an 8-hour episode. And that maybe that'll be part 1. You know, it's just like, and yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. I mean, all the other ones I've done are pretty easy, but that one was the first one that stumped me. And even now I'm like, you know, struggling to get into the next part of it, because some of these areas, it's just either there's just a ridiculous amount of information, and it's kind of like, well, how do you put this in a script format where I can read it and have talking points and all kinds of stuff, or there is pretty much no information. And it's like, well, this is word of mouth lore. And it's like, ugh, you know, because I like to have a couple different sources in the things that I put in my show. So that way, or in my episodes, so that way I don't have, you know, someone hits us up on Facebook and says, well, if you had done a little bit more research, you would have found out that this isn't accurate at all. It's actually this or whatever, right? And so it's like I try to stay away from the single source materials and try to find compatibility in other sources. And when you have stuff that's just based off of historical folklore that wasn't ever written down until like 1,000 years later, it's really difficult to say, well, this is what these people believed, or this is what, you know, they said about trolls or whatever, right? And it's just like, ugh. So still, I mean, I'm still in a position for this topic where I'm like, gosh, maybe I should just drop this and go to do something that's easier. Like, you know, I want to talk about the, you know, Bigfoot, that whole trackway thing. You know, we've been talking about that for 1.5 years, tantalizing the listeners with putting that episode out. And it's like, well, shoot, I really want to hear about that and figure out what it is. And it's like, if I'm going to do all that research, I might as well do an episode on it.
Man, I'll tell you, we haven't done a Bigfoot episode in a long time.
We haven't.
That is true.
And so it's just like, that is probably the worst one. And I know that you thought I was going to say the Fresno Nightcrawler, but
I did.
I mean, that one was just so easy. It was stupid.
I was trying to set you up for a very entertaining, like shit talk of the Fresno Nightcrawler,
Of the
but
pants.
you just ruined it. But anyways.
Well, I mean, I got out all the crap talking when we did the episode, you know, and I busted out that that guy's YouTube channel where he did that breakdown where he's like, yeah, this was the second video. Here's the first one. And you can clearly see that's being dragged along the ground and stuff, and his legs are trailing behind it. And it's just like, I mean, that one was just not interesting. Not that it was like, I just couldn't get through it. It was just, I was like, I'm just droning through, but it wasn't in the position where I am now, where it's just like, man, I'm overwhelmed, you know, because
Right.
I'm not the research guy that you are. I'm not digging into books and doing all this extra stuff. You know, I don't have the attention span for that.
But you think you're better than me?
What's that?
You think you're better than me?
Well, I know that I am. I don't have to think anything, but, and I struggle with my humility. It's just, I'm so humble. I just can't help it, you know? So anyway.
Fun fact, though, before we continue,
Yeah.
Jake and I are wearing the same shirt today
We are.
in different colors.
Same, but different.
I don't know how we
Yes,
learned that one, besides being
There was no
straight up
planning
savages.
there.
Yeah,
That's just, we're on the same wavelength, clearly.
that's right.
Well,
Synchronicities.
Yes.
I do want to get Kid into this conversation here. Kid,
Sup?
so you haven't been on board for very long, right? It's
Yeah.
what, less than a year, right?
Yeah.
So
In the history of a 2-year show. Come on now. That's
that's true. You've been a co-host for,
I mean, Wendigo was over 1 year ago now.
that's right.
It was.
She's been here for
Almost
for more
a
than
year.
half the show.
She has.
So- She's a dedicated co-host.
I'm proud of you, Kid. Look at you.
Aw, thanks.
Look at you, all smiles. Kid, what is the worst episode? What's the worst episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole? Go. You have 10 seconds. 10,
Oof.
9,
Probably the
8,
first like 3 or
7.
4.
6.
Wow. Rough. Tough crowd.
Hey
tough
man,
crowd.
I was on it. I told you guys right
No,
from
you're
the
right.
get-go that your first few episodes were a little rough and a little hard to get into. But once we got past that point,
Okay.
It was smooth sailing. We're
Fair
going.
enough.
I think
I also
the
think they
word
sucked.
she said was a hot, fiery, just garbage heap or something like that. You know, it's just
I
She
don't
just- she
recall
railed
using
us for,
those
like,
words, but sure.
45 minutes about how bad we sucked and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, so you want me to come onto this crappy, good for nothing, no research show?
Oh,
So what?
man.
I can
Yeah,
boost
that
your
was-
numbers, and we're like, yes, please.
That was exactly
So,
what happened.
Let's talk about those first 3/3.5 episodes, because the new listeners now, right? If you go and you listen to the Infinite Rabbit Hole from the first episode you hear is To Bigfoot or Not to Bigfoot.
Yep.
That's, and little does anybody really know that's, you know, new to the show, that's actually episode 4. And so we did 3 episodes before that, plus an introductory episode called Let Us Introduce Ourselves.
Man, it was awful.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. One of these days we'll re-release these 3 episodes.
No,
Probably
just throw them away. Just get
throw
rid of
away.
them. Banish them to the gulag.
It's just like a TV show or any kind of show, really, if you think about it. The first couple episodes kind of suck and they're boring. There's nothing happening. You're getting a lot of character development and storyline and plot line and blah, 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 blah. And then episode 3 or 4 comes around and you're right into it.
Well,
That's
so
what happened here.
I'm not gonna lie, right? Even the episode To Bigfoot or Not to Bigfoot was not the greatest, but I get so many people that listen to the show and they'll hear me mention my Bigfoot encounter, and they want to hear the story, and I'm just like, you got to go listen to Bigfoot or Not to Bigfoot. Like, I can sit here and tell you it again, which I end up doing, but then we end up having like a conversation, and I'm just like, you know, my co-host asked some pretty good questions then, but even then, I mean, I listened to it a month or 2 ago, and it just sounded scripted. It wasn't, right? It wasn't scripted. We don't script our stuff. We just, I mean, other than, you know,
other than all the scripts,
other than the documentary stuff, right? Where we script what the story is being told, but we don't script the conversations, right? The conversations are all genuine, and we didn't actually go to that format. Shoot, I mean, it was probably not until season 2, I think. Okay, so here we go. Jake, what was the first episode that you can remember where we scripted? Like, what was our first documentary type episode? Come on, man, you gotta dig deep, dude. What is it?
Man, I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
Oh man.
It's funny too, because my next door neighbor, shout out Thaddeus, he listens to our show, and he's listening from the beginning to the end, right?
I tell people not to do that.
Well, he's listening to it all the way through, and so he'll bring up something, and he brought up something on Sunday, like an episode that I don't think that I was a part of, actually. But he was talking about the content, and I told him straight up, I was like, Thaddeus, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, first of all, it's like I don't listen to our show besides editing it, and then when it releases, making sure that the sound levels sound good. I listen to like 15 seconds of the beginning, and I'm like, all right, cool, it's done. But also, it's just too much information. I was like, it's impossible to just remember every key point of every single deep dive that we do, like whether it's me or it's Jeremy presenting or Kenza or Jeff or whatever. It's just like I can't remember all that information. I just brain dump it as soon as it's out. So it's just like, so literally, like I remember To Bigfoot or Not to Bigfoot, and then the next thing I can think of that's right at the front of my brain is the Wendigo episode. So just like, and I think there's like 60 episodes in between those two things. So I'm just like, I have no idea.
Go for it.
Was it the National Park Part 1?
Yes.
She looked it
Nailed
up.
it!
No, she looked it up. She cheated.
I
She's
am
down
looking
there
at it.
scrolling through her phone.
What a
I
cheater.
am looking at it. No, I honestly thought it was the sleep paralysis before I looked at it, but then I noticed that that's titled Derek's story, so it's definitely
Derek.
not a scripted episode. So that's why I was like, it's
I forgot
National
about
Parks.
We'll get into Derek because that's kind of the point of these black hole conversations is to kind of take a trip back at some point. Like not every black hole we're going to do this, but this one we will, right? So let's start off with the very first episode, right? The Let Us Introduce This episode. That is where Jake and I tell the story of how we came up with the idea of the infinite rabbit hole. Not going to beat that dead horse
that we've beaten to death, and now it's just turning into a pile of mush. just keep beating it.
screw that. But the very first official episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole was titled Rougarou Pre-Guest Interview. Now,
yes.
Let's talk about this is probably one of, if not the worst episodes in the entire Infinite Rabbit Hole catalog.
Well, the reason why it's the worst one is we were woefully unprepared.
Well, whoa.
And
woefully unprepared to even describe what we're trying to describe.
Let's be real. I'm just going to throw this out there. The story and the incident was good, but we were awful interviewers.
Dude, we should
And so we kept asking the same question in a different format over and over and over again, trying to understand something, and we kept trying to make parallels to something that it clearly wasn't. You can listen back. And I'm being vague because I'd like us to revisit it at some point we can give our guest the respect he deserves in an episode that doesn't suck. Because it was a cool interaction. And if I was in that position, I mean, I'd be, pooping my pants. But it was just, we were so bad at the interview process that, I mean, we were just figuring it out. And how do we go about doing this? I mean, it was new to both of us. But yeah, I mean, what a dumpster fire of an episode. And it had nothing to do with our guests. It had everything to do with how bad we sucked around the guests.
So, the original layout for Infinite Rabbit Hole episodes were that we were supposed to do like every episode was supposed to have like a pre-episode. So whenever we did I wouldn't say every episode, but every interview. So episode 2 is called Rougarou or Honey Island Swamp Monster, Mike's story, and it's part of the Encounter series. First of all, way too fucking long of a title. That's horrible. So my buddy Mike from the Navy believes that he had an encounter with his local cryptid down in Pearl River, Louisiana. I can't believe I remember the name of that town, but I did. And down there, they have a Rougarou, which is a Louisiana werewolf type creature. So a little background on the Rougarou is that when the French actually took over Louisiana, when they took custody of Louisiana, they brought over a lot of their traditions, right? And one of their traditions is the werewolf, right? Werewolves are very popular throughout not just European, but specifically French folklore. And there they call it the loup-garou, right?
Oh.
And when here in Louisiana, they have a creature that some people claim to be a dog, some people that claim to be a Bigfoot type creature, some people that claim to be a reptilian type creature. And even the footprints that we were talking about in that episode were more reptilian like, because they do have casted footprints of a quote unquote Rougarou or something else that's close by as the Honey Island Swamp Monster. Now, there's a lot of headbutting down in that area about what the actual difference is between the Rougarou and the Honey Island Swamp Monster. And a lot of people say the Rougarou is more like New Orleans area, and the Honey Island Swamp Monster is more up by Honey Island, which is where Crystal River is. Or Pearl River, sorry. Anyways, we're gonna end up redoing this episode, so I'm not gonna give out all the information, right. But that is some pretty good stuff. And he believes that he had a run-in with a creature one night at his grandmother's property, which they were living on. They were living in a separate building on his grandmother's property, and he believes that on 2 different occasions he actually had a run-in with either the Honey Island Swamp Monster or a Rougarou. So that is some pretty interesting stuff. But Jake, we did not talk about the quality of audio from that episode.
Well,
you remember?
At that point,
Hey everybody, bear with us while we take this quick break.
Well, at that point, we were still struggling with how do we get everybody on board in the same thing. Like, we had no idea what Zencastr was,
True.
you know, and it was like,
Zencastr was a game changer for us,
oh, for sure. Because, and prior to Zencastr, it was Zoom. So if you didn't, you know,
which sucks.
well, it sucks, but also it's like, you know, sometimes people don't have a Zoom account, and you know, we were at the point where we're like, oh, well, you got to make a Zoom account, and then we can invite you to an episode. And then we found out, I think that you can just email them the Zoom link, and then they don't necessarily have to have an account already. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's been so long since we used Zoom, but it was just, you know, we were trying to figure out, because we were at the point, Kenzar, where we had no idea. It's like, how do you get someone who's away from the two of us to be able to record, you know, the same thing? Like, we were wondering if we do it through speakerphone. Like, you gotta.
Oh yeah, I see what you're getting at.
No, it was bad. We
It was really bad.
literally had no clue, and we're like, how do the professionals do it? And we were thinking, you know, we talk to them through speakerphone, and then we get this, mail them a laptop and a microphone attached to it that they can record on there, and then they send it to us back, and then we splice it all together in Audacity. Like, we had no freaking clue.
Could
And
you
it was
imagine
just
if we
like-
went that route though? We would have went through so many laptops by now.
Oh
Probably.
yeah.
But it was just like, so yeah, but the audio was absolute trash. And did we do it the way, was it through
Discord.
like, was it through Discord?
Yes.
Gosh, man. I mean,
So-
at least we were able to figure that out, but still, it was, that was a pain in the butt.
We
Mm.
even put a disclaimer on the front of that episode that said, "Hey, sorry for the shitty audio.
Yeah.
This is horrible, but we wanted to present it to you in its original nature. Like, we don't want to, you know, reshoot something and make it sound like it's all scripted and everything, and have these unnatural reactions to my buddy Mike's story. So we went with the original audio, which was just horrible. And honestly, I think it was a terrible idea. I think we should have just scrapped the episode. And honestly, now if we go back to that, we have better questions. We have more idea of like how to run an interview now. I think
Right.
that if we, you know, I'm going to reach out to him. I think that would be a really cool thing to do is have Mike back on for an episode.
I agree.
We should definitely do that and then revisit the story and the lore behind the Honey Island Swamp Monster and the Rougarou. We'll
Yeah,
do it
that'd
all
be
in one
really cool.
episode. We'll do it with him. He can tell us the story.
Speaking of like werewolves and stuff, I learned the other day that there were werewolf trials. Not just witch trials, but
Yes.
werewolf trials too.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was cool.
Where
I want to look into that more.
where were they?
I think it was said they were Europe somewhere, but I
It
can't
was.
remember for sure.
It was in Europe, and it's honestly not where you would think. But anyways, we'll
Germany.
save that information for a werewolf
Wales.
episode, because I could see on Kid's face that she might
It's
want
really
to do
cool. I thought that was cool, and I was like, "Oh, I want to look into that." So yeah,
that.
maybe,
I have this book.
perhaps.
Kid, if you're interested, this is a werewolf encyclopedia.
Wow.
What?
It's
They make
literally
things like that.
Yep. Yeah,
That's so cool.
the book's called The Werewolf Book, The Encyclopedia of Shape-Shifting Beings by Brad Steger. And I'll tell you, I haven't read the whole thing front to back yet, but it's extremely interesting. Very,
Yeah.
very good book. Yeah.
See, I'm more like Jake. I'm not a book person. I'm too ADHD for that.
I know.
So like I have a whole shelf full of books too, but
I don't read
they're
any of
all
them. But this is
from
to show how learnt I am.
all of the
Learned.
books I have I collected back when I was in like junior high school, like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade kind of area. And that because that's when I was really into reading, and I collected all my books, and then one day I just put it down and I never picked it back up, and it's just been sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Now I have this wonderful Walt Disney book that I'm 2.5 chapters into, slowly making my way through because I'm so ADHD that I
You better
can't
read that book.
books. Oh, it's really interesting. It's a really interesting book. I've got like I wasn't even in the book yet. I was reading the foreword from some other author, and I already had a whole bunch of information and tabs in my book. So I'm super excited to read that book
So,
and
I mean,
build a new episode. And
you're gonna have to do a Disney part 2 because that episode was pretty popular. I mean,
I noticed that episode
it's-
did really well.
it did do very, very well. So we're gonna have to do a follow-up episode. So okay,
This,
you gotta do it, kid. Gotta just
I will.
suck it up
I got-
and read a book.
Read a book
Hey,
for
I
once.
have
you
read a
left
book.
one.
Look, I read this book this year.
Nice.
Yes, you did.
I
Yes,
read
you did.
Cryptozoology A to Z,
I've read
By
parts of
Laura
that book.
Coleman. It's a good book.
and I still have all my tabs in it.
Mine also has a bunch of tabs too.
It's actually where I got my idea for my next topic, or the
Ooh.
topic that I currently have written up that we
The-
were
the
supposed
topic-
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were supposed to do today, but
The one that Jeff bailed on, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna blame this whole thing on Jeff. So everybody
it's
listening
Jeff's
to this right now, being like, "I thought they said they weren't going to do this all the time." It's Jeff's fault.
Yeah, I specifically asked Jeff if he was going to join today. He said no, and I said, "Well, there goes the episode."
Yep.
Yep.
So we were just going to get on bullshit and just waste time, and we were actually just having a conversation. And I was like, this is like a perfect black hole conversation topic to talk about.
When are we
So-
going to do another missing 411? So we can
We
have a
need-
fan get on there and yell at us about what we call the area, a national park
Oh.
or nature preserve or whatever.
I'm sure we did talk about that, but should we revisit that just for a second here and kind of catch
Yeah.
everybody up to date? So we had somebody reach out to us in our email.
He wasn't very happy.
He was not very happy because we call our missing 411 episodes the National Park Mysteries. So if you're into the whole missing 411 phenomenon, that's what you want to listen to when it comes to the Infinite Rebel. You want to listen to our National Park Mysteries. And some guy got on and was like, "That's a national forest. It's not a national park. They're different." And it's like, okay, bro.
My question is, how many people actually know the difference?
I know that like national parks can be a lot of different things, right? Like monuments can be national parks. I believe
See, I don't know if it's the same thing up here, but like I had never really heard the term national forest before. So that's why I'm asking, like, how many people actually know what a natural, right? Like,
I literally have a Google box right in front of me, so why am I not Googling this? Right. I'm going to go ahead and do that while you guys talk about nothing for a second. Go ahead.
but like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at
Yeah.
here? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that could be common knowledge, but the reality is it's beyond common knowledge and nobody knows about it.
Well, here's a question for you. Do you have something like that up in Canada? Or just like a, whatever they call it. Like, I know in parts of England, it's like the King's Forest or something like that. Or it's something like, it's something specific, but it's the same
Provincial
thing.
parks.
Yeah.
Because everything's provinces up here. We don't have states, right?
All right.
It's provinces. So everything for us is provincial park.
I got an
I
answer for us.
don't know if we have provincial forests, but I know we have provincial parks. There's
Hmm.
one called Sasquatch Provincial,
Nice.
All right.
half hour away from me.
So this website is called nationalforest.org, and it lists this is in I don't know what the article is called. The article is called "What are the differences between national parks and national forests?" And right here in mission and purpose, it says perhaps the greatest difference between the two is the multiple use mandate for national forests. While national parks are highly vested in preservation, barely altering the existing state, national forests are managed for many purposes: timber, recreation, grazing, wildlife, fish, and more. National forests, the mission of the USDA Forest Service, is to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of the nation's forests and grasslands to meet the needs of present and future generations, whereas national parks, the National Park Service preserves unimpaired the natural and cultural resources and values of the national park system for enjoyment, education, inspiration of this and future generations. So, whereas like the national parks, I'm guessing like Yellowstone's got to be a national park then, right? Right? It's not a national forest. Yellowstone National Park. I know that they do a lot of different things there. Like they have a huge thing on tourist. They also do lumber. A lot of colleges have little outposts, or they'll do like scientific studies out there and whatnot, population control. Where I'm guessing national parks are more like you don't touch it, you just stay the fuck out of it.
Interesting. I'm trying to look if it's kind of the same up here in Canada. Because a lot of our forests, a lot of our parks are used for, like, there's chunks of it that are used for
kid, I don't mean to bring it up,
blah, blah,
but
blah.
Canada only ranks number 4 on our
You know what? That's still not my fault.
I'm just kidding, Canada.
Canada's bigger, so meh.
I mean,
Okay, let's put it this way. Everything cool, like really cool up here is like a 10, 12 plus hour drive away from me, and BC doesn't even make up 10% of Canada.
Well,
in order for me to go see anything cool, I have to go over a day's out of my way.
well, here in America, we have Jake and Jeremy and Jeff. So
yeah,
I want to verify something. That thing I just said, that really stupid thing that just came in my face, the King's Land or whatever, it was called Royal Forests. And they were basically designed as hunting areas. They were reserved for the monarch, right? But they do have national forests in England as well. There's quite a few of them. I was like sitting here like looking it up. I was like, if I can't verify what I just said, I'm gonna remove that from the edit, because that was the dumbest thing I think I've ever said in my entire life. It's like, referencing a movie, shooting the king's deer. I'm just like, oh man. And then I say that idiot thing, and I'm just like, I'm over. I'm done.
Before we go, we
got to talk about Derek's thing.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'll just save what I have for the next time then. Because Derek's thing, I don't know if Mr. Derek still listens to the show. I doubt it. For those of you that don't know, you know what? Screw it. We'll talk about the next 3 episodes, right? We already talked about Bigfoot or not the Bigfoot, so we're going to skip that one. But we'll talk about Derek's story of his sleep paralysis and shadow people, and Savvy's story. These were 2 very early episodes as well. Now, you can still listen to Derek's story, the sleep paralysis and shadow people. Now, there was a little bit of research done into this, because one of the very, very early topics of this show that we were going to cover was sleep paralysis. That was one that I had.
You remember recording that? We just were like, this is awful. Throw it away.
One of our very first recordings, period. We did 2 mock-up episodes. One was Jersey Devil, and one was...
I remember you talking about the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, one was sleep paralysis. And both of those mock-up episodes were absolutely trash.
Well, you were like describing your experiences, and I only had like 2 questions, and I was just like, so you think that's real, huh? And then the next question was just like, I don't know. It was just like, the episode was like 15 minutes long, and it was so bad. It's like,
it was just absolutely bad. It was bad, man.
Bad.
But I mean, if you want to hear an interesting story of a man's sleep paralysis issues in his life, Derek's stories are pretty good. Now, Derek, if you're listening to this, man, I mean no disrespect by this whatsoever, but from the time that I've known this man in the Navy, he is quite the exaggerator, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. I don't know if he was exaggerating during his sleep paralysis episode that we did with him, but there was some pretty extreme stuff in there. And by all means, go check it out. The episode's called Sleep Paralysis and Shadows, Derek's Story. during our encounter series, which we don't do anymore. We just do the episode.
One episode and done.
Yeah.
2
So
episodes.
definitely check it out. There, man, there's a lot to unpack in this episode. I mean, the guy, during one of his sleep paralysis episodes was awoken suddenly and pulled a gun on his wife. So there is definitely some touchy things there.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that now.
It could be worse. He could have woken up
I
because
remember
a big
that
gray
now.
scaly thing was being shoved up his butt.
That tasted purple.
Bro, I was editing that. It'll come out. This is
boy.
being recorded. This is being recorded on the 6th. That'll come out on the 9th, and people will hear it. But I was dying nearly the entire episode to the point where I was thinking about taking some Excedrin because I was starting to get a headache. Like, I was laughing so hard.
Oh goodness.
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, who didn't listen to one of the last episodes that came out, we're talking about the communion story of Whitley Strieber. There is a part 2 coming, probably a part 3, 4, 5, and 6 coming.
Man, we were
because-
bagging on that thing so hard. Like, it was crazy. That was a funny episode.
Here's the thing,
It's gonna
though.
be a good episode, though.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's a very, very popular story, and I don't think I've ever listened to anybody cover the communion story and not bag on it. And I'm pretty sure Whitley would even bag on it if he were to talk about it too. I mean, I don't know Whitley personally, or have I ever talked to him, but I mean, the guy is talking about shoving, football-sized metal-plated eggs up his ass, and it's like, you got to have a little bit of humor when you're talking about that. I mean, come on, man. We're only human. We're gonna laugh at something like that. But
trauma.
Yeah.
By all means, I mean, we're not the best human beings here on the show, and we are, we're supposed to provide some sort of entertainment factor to it. So yes, we're gonna laugh and crack up about it. But I can tell you what, if I was in that situation and I was getting that thing shoved up my ass, I would not be fucking laughing about it.
Oh, I'd take that to my grave. I'd never put in a book or anything. That's why I think this is fake.
Hell no, man. I'd put it in a book. You kidding me? I'm not going through that and not making some sort of money out of it.
Anyway, back to Derek. He did not have, as far as we know, a gray scaly egg thing shoved up his butt.
No,
Right.
but that was different. Like, Whitley's was an alien abduction story. This is a sleep paralysis
Yeah.
story. And, we really should dive back into sleep paralysis at some point. It's something I really do want to do because there is a connection there between, shadow people and sleep paralysis, and then a whole bunch of other stuff of
Aliens.
yeah, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot,
yeah.
when it comes down to like Gray's abductions. What were we just talking about in the communion episode? The
Buttholes.
no, screen memories.
Oh.
Yeah, well, buttholes too. Yeah.
Those two.
Those two. I mean,
Goodness gracious.
I'll give you a little side note to think about. Right, every single story written in human history about that has humans in it, you could be 100% certain that there's a butthole in the story too.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't talk about it, the people involved probably had buttholes.
Yep.
So to say there's not a connection is
I
just,
mean, I'd hope so.
Did you know that 100% of the people that have ever lived have buttholes, and all of them have died? That's a
Wow.
hell of a
Well,
So growing
that's-
up,
well,
hell of a
there's been
death rate.
people
Growing
that
up-
have been born without buttholes. I'm
right,
sure of it.
it's funny.
right. But I'm
Growing
just
up-
saying,
Oh,
My parents used to tell me that the reason we have butt cracks is because we all fall down and crack our butts.
well,
There you go.
see, so controllable children.
I think it was my grandparents told me that when my dad was really little, he thought that our butt cheeks were just sacks of poop. Poop sacks,
My sister used to think there was a toilet troll that would come up the toilet when you flushed it and pull
There
you
is,
in
it's
with
a
it.
Kappa.
I mean, yeah, the Kappa, but
Yeah. Toilet troll,
that
Kappa.
was before we knew what a Kappa was.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was just describing an
She was
actual
onto
monster
something,
that was living in
clearly.
a toilet. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So what do you want to talk about in Derek's story, dude? I mean, is there one thing in particular in that episode you want to talk about, or you just want to
Oh
kind of
no, I
bring
was
it up?
just like, just our early episodes. I think actually,
Yeah.
as far as early episodes go, that was probably one of the better ones.
Oh, it was.
Just
It
the
definitely was.
content of it and the interest of it. And it was heavy too, like you were just saying, right? Pulling a gun on his wife. I think that was, even still, I can't remember exactly, but I know we've had parts in like the Missing 411 episodes and stuff where we talk about some rather grotesque stuff, and we still were very cautious about it, and we recognize that people have traumas, right? Some people have had some pretty terrible experiences, and just getting thrown a curveball when they're maybe zoned out listening to us while they're driving or whatever it is, and the next thing they know, they zone back in and we're talking about someone's gut spraying all over a wall, might have a little bit of a distaste for that. So we're cautious about that. But yeah, that was like the first. Well, I mean, obviously it was our first few episodes, but getting into some really like hardcore stuff, which could be a major trigger for people. And it was just like, but I mean, it went well. We still have it on there. No one's sued us yet, so that's cool.
Yeah. As far
But
as we know, we've caused 0 accidents. So
yeah. I mean, how do we know? But anyway, this is the last thing they're listening to before they plunged off this bridge. It's your fault.
So when we first started, I think we actually made it to like season 4, right? We started off the Infinite Rabbit Hole with the idea of doing seasons. We I don't know, just it was kind of a dumb thing, but at the same time I kind of liked it. But anyways,
it allowed us an opportunity to have a seasonal break. That was the main thing.
That was the big run at it. It was. Anyways, so our first season had 15 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 7 that are live right now, so that means 8 of them were taken down. So there is quite a bit that's gone and may or may not come back. So when we post like our old episodes and everything, that's kind of what we post from. We post from these episodes that we take down, right? And the reason, the real driver behind that is because when we 90% of the people that listen to podcasts, whenever you ask them, hey, what if you're going to listen to a new podcast, where do you start? They say the first episode.
And I'm totally that kind of person. I'll start at the first episode, which I will vouch is not always a good idea.
It is not. And it's not a good idea to do it with the Infinite Rabbit Hole. No. And that's what I tell people too. I'm like, you do not need to listen to this podcast from the beginning. You don't. And they're like, well, I need to know the story. No, there's no story to know. I mean, if you want to get certain jokes, yeah, it'll help. But
right.
I mean, if you're trying to get attached to a podcast and you want to like really jump in, don't start at the beginning. Don't start at ours. I mean, unless it's like a story podcast. No, I listen to like The Old Gods of Appalachia, which is fantastic freaking podcast. Those kind of podcasts you have to listen to from the beginning because you have to know the whole story.
I've been listening to one called Escaping Denver. It's all about escaping the Denver airport. It's same thing. You want to start that one. Right. You want to start that series at episode 1. Otherwise, you're gonna miss a whole bunch of information. Right. It's a really cool podcast. Highly recommend. But
so for us, like if this is the first episode you're ever listening to, don't feel the need to go to the very first episode. Just pick and choose what you want to listen to. And then I would much rather you listen to the newer stuff and then go back and laugh at us about the early stuff. Do it that way. Don't start at the beginning. So
listen to this one and then go back to listen to Bigfoot or Not to Bigfoot, and then send us a message letting us know that you did that and that you're laughing your ass off.
I wouldn't even do that. I would just listen to like the last 30 episodes, and then if you want to have a good laugh, go back and listen to the first ones. But that's the reason why we take them down, right? There's just some that just aren't up to the quality that we want anymore. And basically, if they're over a year old and they're just underperforming episodes, or it's just not what we're looking for in our voice anymore, then we take it down. It's as simple as that, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then moving on to the last episode that we'll talk about tonight, and that is Empathy, which is Savvy's story. Now this was different. This was not something that I ever thought that we were gonna do here on the
Interview with an
Forever.
empath. Yep.
Interview with an empath. Yeah. Well, now it's just called Empathy, Savvy's story. It was originally called Interview with an Empath. I don't know what I was thinking there of changing that, but anyways, was it a bad interview? No, I honestly I think it went better than what I was expecting out of it. But I did listen to it probably about a year ago, and I just sound really dumb. Oh man, do I sound dumb? The questions I ask are just like, well, you're an idiot. You know, it was we were trying to make an episode for the Infinite Rabbit Hole universe, like the topics that we cover, out of a
Mhm.
topic that really doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? Although it does have some very interesting stuff. And it's not necessarily that I believe that the topic doesn't belong here. It's more or less that we didn't have the person who can connect with the guest. That's what it was. Like if we had CJ for that episode, probably would have been a lot better because CJ's into that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's into that kind of stuff, that mental connectivity, the psychopathic connections, the empathy. He's into that kind of stuff. Not me. And Jake, I mean, I feel like you had a better hold on the topic than I did, but it just wasn't a very good episode. I don't think we did the topic justice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, not really. I think that at that point we were just trying to fill content because we wanted to show in our first, this was the game plan, Kenzar, in our first 10 episodes or first 5 episodes, we want to show how versatile we can be. Where we're not just going to talk about cryptozoology or aliens or paranormal stuff or strange natural phenomena. And that was literally like verbatim the conversation. We're going to talk about everything. We're not going to be a cookie cutter, type podcast where we only talk about one topic. And so we wanted in our first 5 episodes or first 10 episodes, we're going to do something completely different every single time. And yeah, I mean, I think that it was a decent episode, and her story and her experiences are decent. But I agree, I may have, well, I do have more of like a handle on what being an empath is. I would say it's more along the lines of discernment, just being able to discern upon meeting somebody, what their character is like, or being able to feel those sorts of emotions and have more of a handle on like non-visual cue or non-visual cues, in the way people are speaking, or even visual cues, really having a handle on that and being able to tell, what's going on with people and being empathetic towards people and their emotions and things like that. But I don't experience that, and Jeremy doesn't experience that. And so both of, like he just said, both of the interviewers, me and Jeremy, were very kind of not into the whole thing. And yeah, if we had CJ on there would have been a decent dialogue back and forth versus just a Q&A, which is, I think that's something that we pride ourselves with, because even nowadays when we're interviewing somebody, it's not just Q&A. We ask the question, they answer it. Next question. Like that episode was, there's a lot of dialogue in between there, a lot of back and forth, and we expand on it. Maybe we get derailed and just go down a rabbit hole, right, in the interview process, and we don't even get to the rest of the questions. But again, just right at the beginning, figuring out how to interview people, figuring out the flow and the dynamics of it and everything. And I think that if we did that episode again, that we would do a lot better at it, because we would understand that you can't just have that static question and answer, for 45 minutes, that you have to have that the flow and everything included. So I think that if we wanted to revisit that, which honestly, unless we got CJ on here or someone else that was, I don't know, Kenzar, if you're also an empath, but, where you could, have that sort of good conversation back and forth and sharing of experiences and stuff like that. I think that we should just leave that one where it lies. But a lot of our early episodes, we could probably redo them and give the people that we interviewed or the topics that we covered a lot more justice with just the amount of growth and development in just the way that the podcast is run, but also in like the research topics we've covered since then. We have more wealth of information and knowledge and stuff, and we deal with this on a regular basis. Probably when we're talking to our friends and our family members about the show, someone might say, oh, well, Bigfoot, bro, I can just start rattling off for like 3 hours and not repeat the same information because of all the things I've heard about Bigfoot and all the things I've read over the last 2 years. And it's because it's a topic that we cover, and I can throw stuff out there that blows people's minds that really could convince someone that this could be a real animal. We're just waiting on hardcore evidence of it, not that it's some, boogeyman or, it's just folklore. So I think that we could, talk about the Rougarou, and we could really get into it and really just have a good conversation and maybe give Mike some information that he may not have previously known about the history of the Rougarou or, other locations where this is a very popular thing. And we could really do that episode justice. But for that one, I think that we should just leave the empath episode where it's at. I think it was good. It wasn't great, but that was entirely on our side. It had nothing to do with Savvy and all of these interviews and things that are early episodes where we botched it. I mean, it had nothing to do with the person we were interviewing. It had everything to do with us facilitating, and we just sucked,
Savvy was a great guest.
Yeah.
She was fantastic. That's somebody that actually Jake and I know personally.
Yeah.
And I can't say anything bad about her as a guest. Absolutely awesome. All right, let's get this wrapped up. Let's reward the listeners that come to the end of a black hole conversation, right? Because these are probably going to be one of the harder episodes for people to get through, unless they really like our conversation, right? But it's not what people come to the Infinite Rabbit Hole for. So, as a thank you to you guys for making it all the way to the end, let's peel back the curtain a little bit. Let's go one by one. We'll start with Kid. Same question for everybody. Kid, what is one topic that you will be covering in the future? Not anything in the near future. Don't give us like one of your next 2 or 3 topics. Give us a topic that you will be covering that you are most excited about.
Honestly, I think it's going to be werewolves.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
Something that I like.
Good. You better fucking do good, kid.
You've said that for every single episode.
You better fucking do good.
Like
werewolves,
He'll can you so
werewolves and
fast.
vampires have been like, oh my goodness.
No,
Werewolves
I hope
and
you do it.
vampires have been sitting in the back of my mind for quite a while, and then I learned the whole werewolf trial thing, and like I like the whole witchy thing, and I'm interested in the witch trial thing. But again, like the Salem witch trials and all that, that's fairly cut and dry. Werewolf trials, however, sound very interesting to me. And I know there's a lot of lore and a lot of stories and whatnot behind werewolves. So like it's kind of been sitting at the back of my mind. And then I learned that, and now you tell me there's an encyclopedia. I think I'm going to do werewolves eventually.
So, pop quiz, Kid.
Oh no!
Not that you know anything, but the name lichens, right? We'll start with the easy question. What does lichen refer to?
I've heard this word a million times.
Ooh, pick me.
Jake.
Yeah, I picked Jake.
Lycanthropism.
Lichen. It's a wolf, right?
Yeah.
It's dog, canine kind of thing, right? So how did a werewolf... Jake has his hands up. How did the werewolf and the a person with lycanthropy get tied into the word lichen? And where's the origin of the word lichen? Do you know? Without looking it up. Don't look it up.
Isn't it a plant?
It's not.
You know what? I would have said the same thing though. That sounds very planty.
It might be, but I don't
It's
know.
like almost like a mossy type plant.
Lichen shade.
Yeah. That sounds kind of cool.
I don't know if it's pronounced Lycan or Lycaon, but in Greek mythology,
Oh yeah.
Lycaon or Lycan was a king of Arcadia, who had a lot of
Ooh.
very canine-like um, aspects to him. We'll go with. So just throw that in there
He
as
had a
like a little.
tail.
I'm not.
He was
Well,
born with a tail.
I'll let kid.
I'm making
I'll-
a note right now.
I'll let kid take it from there. But yeah, the king's the way you spell the king's name, Lycaon, 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 something like that. Lycaon. Anyways, all right. So Jake, give us a topic that you're going to present that you're most excited about. That's not like something that's coming out within the next month or two.
Do you want the long answer or the short answer?
Well, we're at an hour and 10 minutes already in this episode, so you choose. Give us
I'll
a
give you-
mixture of the two.
I'll give you the short answer. I don't know.
Oh,
There
really?
you go.
So long answer then?
Sure. Yeah.
I want to go back to doing small time cryptids.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking about the Kappa.
Yeah.
That was a good
And-
episode.
I was thinking about something that I said either in that episode or prior to that episode where I believe I said it in the episode where we're doing all these huge topics and I felt uneasy at first with the idea of bringing up a small time, and that wasn't even cryptid. That was just, well, it could be considered a cryptid depending on like who you are, but it's really just lore and legend, right? But having a small time thing, which is a single episode that maybe takes an hour and a half to present it, because we're doing such ginormous topics with multiple parts and stuff like that. And like I wanted to do the Loveland Frogman, but I'm just like, oh well, that would be so misplaced in where we're at right now. But I did the Kappa, and man, I want to do all those small time cryptids that we had on that list so long ago, and I want to talk about like I don't know, the black cats and the Appalachians,
The
all that,
Wampus Cat,
all that sort of stuff. I mean,
the Beast of Bradenboro, or yeah, I think it's Bradenboro.
yeah, all that.
Yeah.
I want to get into that again because it was fun, easy research topics. It didn't take a tremendous amount of time, but also, we could talk a bunch of crap and laugh and it wasn't so serious. And I don't know. I want to start doing more of those. So I am still pushing on this Trolls episode. I've put that out already. So, I mean, the listeners can expect that more focusing in like the England type area or just the Celtic area. But after that, I think I'm going to spend a significant amount of time covering small time cryptids and small time legends and stuff. And maybe
Nice.
if there's not enough content, tying them in together and stuff, kind of like what I did with the back end of the Kappa story. But yeah,
Nice.
I don't know,
Bladenboro, not Bradenboro.
I think that it's a disservice to those stories to not ever cover them because we're now focused on bigger, badder, better things,
Oh no, dude, we should totally step back.
And I think that would help us with our writer's block / burnout.
You're probably right. Is doing a couple small ones probably would be nice. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of the one that I'm currently doing right now. I am really dragging my fucking feet on.
Yeah, same.
It's
Same.
it's horrible. Yeah, maybe I did want to do the Van Meter Visitor, so that maybe I do just jump on that real quick, knock it out, and then jump back into the one that I'm currently doing. But speaking of
Jeremy, same question.
okay, same question. I will be doing a rather large piece on the Mothman at some point. That's probably one that I'm most excited about. I'm slowly getting my collection of books because I'm looking for that information that others don't have. That's the thing, right? Everybody's beaten the Mothman stick.
Everyone's beating the Mothman to death by now.
Everyone, right? We've beaten a dead Mothman, but I want to
Beating him
get
with his own wings.
I want to bring something to the listeners of the Infinite Rabbit Hole in the Infinite Rabbit Hole fashion, and bring something unique to the table about the story of the Mothman. And not just the injured cold stuff, but I've got a pretty decent idea of how I'm going to do it too. And that I can't put out, but I would probably say within a year, I'll be jumping into Mothman.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, that has been another episode, another black hole conversation here at the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Who knows? Maybe we'll do another one next week. I don't know. But we're
Surprise.
gonna surprise.
I mean, that depends if Jeff wants to join. Mr. Hefe there wants to join us or not.
We still have to do his Gateway Part 3.
We do.
There's
Fuck
that
Jeff.
too.
Fuck him.
Oh, Hefe.
Oh, Hefe. I think he just doesn't love us anymore. I think he's too big for us.
Yep.
Jeff's really popular. We're just kind of like little guys to him.
He's got his shadow band podcast over there and everything.
All right. Well, that's it, everybody. We'll see you next week in the next path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Holes up the rabbit of the
Gray.
hole.
Gray.
Oh my goodness.
Gray.
Gray, scaly. A
Shane.
whole dang owl shoved up
Yeah.
that rabbit hole.
Right up the hole.
And it's
Call-
feisty, apparently.
Call it the owl rabbit hole of the butt.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
By the time I hit my 50s, I'd learned a few things, like how family is precious. Work can always wait. And 99% of people over 50 already have the virus that causes shingles. Not everyone at risk will develop it, but I did. The painful, blistering rash disrupted my life for weeks. Don't learn about your shingles risk the hard way. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.